He's a renowned body language expert, co-author of the best-selling book, Truth and Lies, and has a strong passion for helping people create the most powerful, influential, and persuasive communication in business presentation situations. I'm delighted to welcome and have a conversation with Mark Bowden on Small Talk. I'm your host, Javed Khan. Mark Bowden, co-author of Truth and Lies. Welcome to Small Talk.
Great to be here, Javed.
Hey, Mark, I'm really delighted that you are on the show. And the folks who are watching, Mark Bowden is the co-author of a book called Truth and Lies. He's been on multiple media outlets, both in Canada, United States, international. He's an international speaker, and he specifically speaks around body language. And the conversation today, Mark, that I would like to have with you is around body language, but specifically, you've got this acronym that you called S.C.A.N, S-C-A.N, and it's all around critical thinking and body language. Really interesting conversation, folks, today. So listen in. Here we go, Mark. Help us understand S.C.A.N and body language and critical thinking.
Yeah, so let me just unpack the acronym for you to take you through it. But essentially what it's about is thinking better about body language. When we read body language, we have a whole bunch of assumptions. However, our assumptions feel very true. They may be very, very accurate, very, very inaccurate, or something in between. But regardless of if we've read it right, we always feel like we've read it right. And if you can more critically think about the body language you're seeing, your ability to get more accurate more often increases. So let me unpack S.C.A.N for you. S is for suspend judgment. So you know you judge, we all judge people. We know we judge bias towards we're very good judges. We always believe we're right. You got to take that judgment, put it to one side. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. You're just putting it to one side. You can come back to it later. You didn't destroy it. You just put it to one side. So that's S for suspend judgment. A for ask, C for context. Look at the context that's happening. Put the body language in the space that you saw it, in the time that you saw it, in what you understand of the person or personality or situation that people are in. Sometimes that reveals even more about what you should think about the signals that you saw. Then A for ask what else. Just get more information. Don't stop there. Don't stop that judging process at this point. Who else can you ask about the body language that you're seeing? Can you actually ask the person and say, hey, what's up here? You know, here's what I think, but what do you think is going on here? Can you read a book? Can you get on the internet? Can you get more data quickly or over a long period of time? And then N is new judgment. Make a new judgment. Now, quite honestly, your new judgment can be your old judgment. You can bring back that suspended judgment. But often if you've been through that process of suspension, context, getting more data, you often come up with a much better idea of what is truly going on. Does that make sense to you?
Totally makes sense. And I've got a quick question with regards to the suspend judgment. You find from your experience that when people don't suspend judgment, that influences the tone of their conversation with individuals?
Well, of course, because their judgment starts to frame their whole experience. Here's what I'd say about it, David. It's a really interesting question because it's something I've been thinking about a lot. The brain and the body, we're not just an input device. We're an output device as well, but we output like a projector. We see the world, but also then, based on our assumption, we start to project out our idea of the world. And then we start to gather data from the same world that we projected out. So to get into a spiral of, say, negativity about somebody, we can get into a spiral of positivity about them. Essentially, our brain and body can be a bit of an echo chamber of its own ideas about the world. Nothing wrong with that. It helps us make really sometimes quite good, quick decisions. But if you've got more time to make a slightly longer decision and a more accurate one, critical thinking and suspending judgment can be a great way to do it.
Now, for those who are watching this show, and specifically our conversation with Mark Bowden, who is the co-author of Truth and Lies and a body language expert, international speaker, been on media, both Canada, the United States, and internationally. Mark, one other question is, how does this relate, or is this an influence in our critical thinking when we are having conversations or meetings with individuals in terms of the body language area?
Yeah, so again, because we're both a detector and a projector, we could be in a really important business meeting of whatever sort. Could be, could be about the numbers, could be about the people, could be about the product, the service, could be selling, could be buying. And without this critical thinking process, it's not that we'll make the wrong decisions. It's just we've got to understand we're making a lot of guesses very quickly about everything that's going on. Again, I got no problem with that. But if you've got a little bit more time, or you want to take a little bit more time to critically think, not only about body language, by the way, David, you can use this SCAN technique to critically think the numbers, to critically think the product, to critically think your buying process, whatever's going on in the business. If you can take a few more moments to do that critical thinking, I will gamble that you will make some better decisions along the way.
Amazing conversation, folks. You've got Mark's contact information on the screen. Please, if you have further questions and you want to continue this conversation with Mark, please reach out to him. His contact information is there. Now, Mark, one question we always ask our guests is the following. If you had an opportunity to have a small talk conversation with anyone, living or past, who would that be?
So let's have a conversation with Charles Darwin. I don't know what we're going to get out of it, but it'd be really interesting. You know, if nothing else, I'd really like to hear his voice. I'd really like to hear what his voice sounds like, and I'd like to hear from him. Some of the ideas that he had around how evolutionary theory, evolution works, and his ideas of behavior. Charles Darwin was one of the first writers on body language, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff that you probably well know. What people often don't know is that he's one of the first behavior and body language writers. So the kind of grandfather of us all.
Wow, that's amazing, Mark. Thank you again, Mark Bowden, co-author of Truth and Lies. Thanks again, Mark, for being here on Small Talk.
Lovely. Thanks for having a chat.
Thank you to Mark Bowden for joining me on Small Talk. You can also listen to the show as part of our podcast series. Now it's your turn. Please comment, subscribe, and share. If you've got a topic you'd like to discuss on the show, please give me a call or send me an email. We'll talk with you next time.